All right, well, so I'll note I wasn't really planning to do recording for this game. Basically, back a couple of years ago when I was basically thinking about it, but because of the recent Sunday Rails for 2023, and due to basically one of the games having a very similar sort of mechanic, I felt I should dive into Rogue Saga. And this is a game that it's very simple, but let's just jump into it. I'll note it basically has several classes you can basically play here. I'll note at the start, you'll only be able to basically select this fighter class here, but as you basically progress up, you'll be able to unlock more characters. As you can basically see from here, the dancer basically here, you can't really see it that easily, but basically it unlocks on like floor 15, and that's basically how all these classes basically sort of unlock. You basically go up to certain levels of the dungeon, and they'll basically unlock these characters for you. And let's see here. Each of them have their own perks and such. Let's go with the Warlock, which is basically sort of like a mix of like a mage and a fighter, so to speak. Basically, it's the average character. So let's start the game with him. So, storytelling. You are a battle mage supporting warriors with spells. One day, without any clear reason, you begin your adventure. You first arrive at a very small village and hear interesting stories about a desolate dungeon nearby. The villagers warn of scary monsters in the dungeon, but you begin to travel towards it anyway. And I'll note that all like the different classes have their own sort of introductory text like this, though only like the first sentence basically appears, or like sentence of this paragraph basically changes. So the rest is basically all the same. So, oh no, the entrance has collapsed and it's blocked. So you can't come out of this dungeon. You just have to keep going in it. So how this basically works is you have your stats like strength, agility, intellect, vitality, and willpower. You have the other stats that come with it, so damage, attack speed, everything else. Um, the warlock here basically starts off of a wooden staff as well as a rusty wand. He has a couple apples here, basically eating it MP from. He's got 12 HP, 12 mana, 10 food. So just gonna wander around here until we find something. So there's basically an enemy right here, and it's a goblin. Now you're probably noticing something right away here. This is not your traditional sort of turn-based roguelike, because it's basically got like a like it doesn't really hold to like the non-modal sort of idea. And basically, when you're not moving like this, the game is basically got a sort of super hot mentality to it, where if you don't move, nothing else moves. But as soon as you start taking actions, everything will like keep going. So it's got a sort of pause and go type of mentality to it. And let's just delete this guy because why not? Now, as I'm basically killing these monsters here, you'll notice that basically there's a yellow bar sitting above my inventory. That's basically my experience. I'll note basically when I'm using like the wand here, it costs me mana basically to use it, so I can't just willy-nilly just be like running around like smashing things with my wand. Eventually I'll run out of mana. And I'll note I had like a bow, which I just picked up right now. This requires me to have arrows in order to use it, so I can't use the bow unless I have arrows to basically fire. Now, I'll note the game that basically made me think about this game here was basically Let Them Eat Cake from the Sunday Rails 2023. And this goes to show that you can do quite a lot with like this sort of formula with like, super hot mechanics. But you have to sort of like build on it to like, really make it like into something. Like even this game here, I'll note it's very simple for what it basically is. I paid money for this just to sort of demonstrate like, some like what the mobile roguelikes basically were. Or I actually just experienced them. But at the same time, I feel like this is a game that like, this is not like, a game that's really worth like, even $1, so to speak. It's just very, very simple to kill time with. Here we got ourselves an arrow there, so I can demonstrate the bow. So you see, like, it says arrow required in order to fire the arrows. Now, I should probably note something about these weapons, by the way. They all have, like, a different attack type, so the bow here basically has attack type pierce. The wand basically has a magic weapon, and then the staff up here basically has a slash type of damage. Each of these, like, damage types basically correspond to a different type of stat, so if you have strength, basically do more slashing damage. If you have more agility, actually, I hold it down, you can see it, so strength basically gives a bonus to slashing weapon damage and maximum inventory weight. Agility will give you basic bonus to piercing weapon damage and accuracy and dodge. Intellect increases your MP and gives you bonus to spell damage. Vitality increases your HP and armor rating, and then like willpower lets you resist hunger better, gives you bonus to MP recovery and spell sustainability. So just an idea of like some of the stuff that's happening here. Okay, so a couple of goblins here to fight, that's fine. So we got ourselves a bow. And you notice I'm not using my mana to basically fire off, like, these shots here. Oh, note that my HP is, like, still 12. So it's got sort of, like, an interesting, think, like, decimal type of system where you might have, like, an HP of, like, 11.8 or, like, something like that. Alright, so my bar basically filled up. Each time we level up, we have a chance of, like, increasing 3 of these stats. So I could increase strength, basically, to, I stopped filling it up, but basically you saw what the stats basically do. Strength basically gives me bonuses to slashing and increased weight. Intellect increases my spell damage. Vitality makes me a little more healthy. So let's go with Vitality to start off with. So basically I'm a little bit more healthier. And nope, by the way, I didn't get those arrows back. Sometimes you get arrows back from fighting stuff, but not always though, so something to keep in mind. Let's sort this up a little bit. Oh, there's some arrow. I keep finding snails apparently for some reason, but that's fine. Oh, there's a critical. Yeah, there is criticals in this game, by the way, though. You don't this game, I don't think, from like just hitting stuff in the back like that. It's more so just by chance. Hit this. And that appears to be the dungeon. So there we go. Now, I'll know I basically saw like a health cube basically up here. Each of these like, boxes we basically find, they'll basically give you items, or they'll give you like, scrolls or identify scrolls or something like that. Something in your shops. This one will replenish your health and your mana, so let's hit that right now. Now, what I'm really after, by the way, is like, a certain box that lets you identify scrolls. It's basically a giant question mark. Once I find it, I can basically show you off what you can basically do with scrolls here. A little bit better. And by the way, it gets you tips by as you play here, so it's just nice. Actually, I've got two of these free scrolls, 4 of these scrolls, 5 of these scrolls. Okay, so I will note that you can actually cast these if you want as well. This, like, unidentified scrolls, just like any other like roguelike. It's not recommended, but you can. Okay, there's a victim. So let's use this. Select a target, and oh, unfortunately, show my face there. Yep, accidental screen reveal. Let's see here. Can I move this away? So use. Okay, so this is fire rail, by the way. So I'll note that scrolls, basically, you can use them to, well, as you saw from my mana right there, they basically take up a little bit of mana to basically cast these spells, so it just takes like free mana basically to cast even a scroll. And you do identify like unidentified scrolls when you basically use them like this. Let's move this over here. I'm using a phone, right? So I have to sort of manage the recording controls and stuff like that. But anyways, now what's interesting about the scrolls, by the way, in this game, for any class that's able to actually use these schools, like evocation here, for example, if I basically have the properties basically to actually use those like skills, I'll be able to like memorize the spells. Just looking for it right now. Now, note, by the way, if you hit stuff close enough to each other, they will like respond like to the sounds of like your friends being hit. But they have to be fairly close for it to happen. Let's put this here. And yes, RNG is a factor in this game, so so I'll note that question mark block will identify my scrolls if I hit it. But since I already identified from the other way, won't worry about it. There's a Golem Soldier, so a little bit tougher than the regular one. Alright, there's another scroll, so let's just go show off the identified block right here. Your scroll's been identified, so this is a Cure Small Wound. Alright, note that these all have different types of like, schools, by the way, so that's like Divine, that's Evocation. I'm looking for a specific scroll for this type of character that lets him basically memorize the scrolls like for a spellbook. Basically down here is like a spellbook for enchantment, summon, and transfusion spells. And if I basically like finally get those scrolls, I can actually memorize them into my spellbook and actually use them later. And I really shouldn't be leaning stuff with this guy. I should be using my spells a little bit more, so let's do so. Isn't this fun? You can cut people like that if you want to. Alright, let's go with Willpower next. This basically gives me better resistance to hunger and bonus to MP recovery, which is useful. I mean, if you look at my character here, you can see I'm at the 410 of food, so I am running out of food slowly here. Down it goes. The enemies do move around by themselves, by the way. And that may be towards you by accident, or maybe away from you. Who knows? I'm going to sort of like cover my backside here by like exploring around a little bit. Another apple. So some more Cure Small Wound and some more Fire Arrow. Oh, there's a shop. Alright, let's just try and show off the Fire Arrow a little bit here. So we're going to use this. Well, if I had like the book here, I could try and like scram try it, but you can't, your current class can't learn this type of spell, so don't worry about it. But I could use this, and boom. So basically, I like, attacked him that way. Here's a short sword. And yeah, different like weapons have different properties. So note that this like weapon here has a very it's not very slow like my staff is for attacking, but it's normal attack speed. So if I actually put this on, I'll actually attack at like normal speed as opposed to not. And by the way, you can use the shop to sell stuff if you want to. You can buy stuff here, you can sell stuff. So just drag it to the window and you sell it. So let's do that. I really don't need this bow right now, so let's sell off the bow. These don't have any weight to them, so why not just keep them for now? Don't need to buy anything yet. I'm leaning again, but note that it's basically attacking a lot faster with the sword than it was with like the staff, so basically a lot faster as opposed to like very slow. Instantly kill him in 2 shots. It is possible to get caught up on the walls if you're not careful, and there's 2 soldiers here. Note that I'm about to run out of mana here. Not enough mana. And I sold that bow, so I can't actually, like, shoot him anymore, so I should actually probably sell that staff, so let's go do that. But before I do, note that basically my hunger's gone like red. So basically I'm like starting to get toward like, starvation. And yeah, you don't heal up your food when you basically hit those boxes. Note that for the food here, I basically have apples, which basically heal me like 2 food points, 6 HP, 4 MP. There's also this monster meat that, like, there's 2 food points and a bruise. If you eat the apples, then, you go up by like what it basically says. But if you eat this monster meat, notice that basically on like the bottom left there is basically a sort of like, drop icon. Ouch. Ouch. Basically, I'm poisoned. Note, by the way, that poison will scale with like your HP. So if you have like 100 HP, it'll like be like 2 or 3 points per like second you're losing. So something to watch out for. Let's just sell off the star staff. I don't need it. And I can actually drag this down here just to my hotkey. Yep, you can hotkey your weapons. Now, note by the way, my character is like currently running around with a sword, and his weapon will change depending on what you got equipped. Oh, critical him to kill him. Overkill. Got any idea what that guy was? And we're almost on a level 3. Okay, can wear these. So I note that each of the classes, they have restrictions on what they can basically wield or wear or learn. Like the fighter, if you basically use him, can't use spells, so his spellbook's like empty. Some classes can't use bows. The barbarians are sort of unique in that they can sort of dual wield with sub weapons. Okay, I see him over here. Oh, good. I can close my recording options so I don't have to see them all over the place. Alright, so yes, there is ranged monsters in this game. These guys really aren't dangerous, so we're just going to use a fire arrow to get rid of him. Trying to think how I want to deal with this guy. And yes, you can be critical as well, so that can happen too. Alright, bread heals you quite a bit. So we'll eat the bread. Now, nope, all these guys are pretty close to each other. Oh, but the ranger's moving off. So if that ranger was close to him, he would have actually like, respawned. But he moved off, so I get to kill this guy alone. Awesome. So again, I could go for agility, which basically gives me weapon damage for piercing and accuracy and dodge. Not actually that bad for me to use on this character, I think. So let's just take some accuracy and dodge. Okay, there goes that guy. I didn't actually mean to break that door, because, you know, there's this guy down here. Oh! Here's a key, by the way. Keys can be used to unlock doors you can't open. Very nice. We found some gloves. Some leather gloves, so more armor. They're not the armor I really need, but they're the armor I'll take. Okay, there's a door there. I'll note the basic strategy someone gave for playing this game. It's just basically explore around until you find a door, then keep exploring until you find all doors, and then open a door, just to keep yourself from being attacked from the back. You're dead. Okay, let's go this way. Another key. Now, I am told there is secrets in this game, but I never actually found a secret door at all. So, no idea what that, if there is or not. So this guy was moving away, but I hit him, so he decided to come after me, of course. Hey, there we go. It's not great, but it's cloth armor, so there we go, some armor. And yeah, now I've got some cloth-like armor on my character here. No cloth armor. Cloth armor. Okay, let's open this door over here, I think. Yeah, you can leave these guys in range if you want with like ranged weapons. It's not, a good idea, but you can. I'm getting a little bit injured, so. And I will note I can't use the hotkeys as well. I probably should. So, use your belt if you have it. And I say that, and then, we have these both pop up at the same time. Now, I saw something that says Zorb there. I'll note these guys, sometimes you'll basically absorb the damage as opposed to, take the damage, which is nice. Sometimes you block, sometimes you won't block. Open the door with a key. Okay, there's a scroll. And cure poison. So that's another divine scroll. I can't, memorize it, so well. Why not? Let's break that here. I'm missing something. Where is the door? Well, I've explored to the southwest down here. So, down to the southwest, here I go. I assume this is going to be a very long corridor up to the top of the map, by the way. Because we're on the 3rd level, and the 3rd level is where a boss usually is for this, this game. There's our sword. There's a broadsword. That's a little bit better than the short sword. Leather gloves again. Dead. Yet another pair of gloves. Alright, well, I absorbed some of that damage, so that's nice. But to play it safe, let's just use fire arrow on one of these guys here. And then... okay, we got one of them basically out of the way. Archers can do a lot of damage if you're not careful, especially when they're teamed up like that, so just play it safe. Get some more vitality. There's another identified scroll. Remember, I have these, question mark blocks down here, so I can see what it is. Tangle. So there's a transmutation spell. Notice basically in yellow. So if we do this right here, you'll learn the spell. Now, something to know about these spells you basically learn here. They actually cost a lot more mana than from the scrolls. This basically costs 6 mana basically to cast here, as opposed to free from the scroll. So scrolls always have a benefit in this game, even if you can learn the spell, which is something innovative. Well, there's the boss. And he's got a friend, of course. Okay, we got rid of him. Now, bosses usually give you a lot more than the other guys. This guy gave me a crafting material cloth, which is basically used to upgrade your stuff. He gave me a broadsword +1, so it's basically got a extra modifier on it. So nice. Nice stuff all around. And I'm getting a little bit, hungry again, so let's just show off something, by the way. I'm going to eat 2 of these at once. And note, by the way, I basically ate 2, so now the poison really hurts. Basically, if you eat lots of poison food at once, you take more poison effect, obviously. Okay, open this door with a key. Kill that guy in 2 shots. Alright, there is a saber. So, yeah, I'll note there's basically some weapons in this game that, also have pierce damage on them. So you basically have finesse weapons, you have, strength type based weapons. Note, by the way, this, saber here has a very fast attack as opposed to, just a fast one, so agility, weapons are a lot faster, but do less damage. Alright, so this should be the safe house. So note that there's this little areas where you can basically save stuff as you want. You basically do some crafting here. So let's say I want to basically have better gloves than like, you know, these right here. I can go in here and I can like use this crafting stuff. Oh, nothing happened. That's the leather glove. Okay, let's actually just take off my armor for a moment. And I used the cloth on it. So made it an item. Basically, I just upgrade my like cloth armor to be like, you know, cloak +1. So it's a little bit better. And you can basically do like several things with like the stuff we basically have here, right? So some of these arrows, for example, I could upgrade as well. So I can throw this right here and for like, you know, this monster right here. And that basically makes a poison arrow. If I add this here and add some herbs, that will make some monster meat or cooked meat, which is basically a lot healthier than like, you know, monster meat, which poison you. And a lot of people recommend you do this, by the way, as, you know, food. Why not let's do that. Now, if you have like, you know, leftover stuff in here you don't really need to like, you know, deal with. These blue sticks aren't useful to me right now, so let's just like throw them in there for now. If there was basically stuff in here that I want to sell perhaps, it makes sense to drop it in here until I can find a store and then come back to like, you know, use it. So we can just throw this all in here. And when I find a store, I can, you know, take it here as opposed to like dropping on the floor. You can drop stuff if you get overweight. And you actually saw it temporarily. I was basically overweight because I had to cloak basically my inventory. But if you're overweight, then you move slow. You can't really do much. And, you know, you don't want to be overweight, obviously. The magic flower pot basically converts the random item into something else. If I want to take one of these items, perhaps, like say this saber, I can throw it in here. And it'll basically convert into something randomly. So, very, very nice. Alright, so, that's a good showing what the Warlock basically is. I'll note there's basically more to this than just the Warlock. So, let's jump into Mage here for a little bit. He's currently at a safe house fighter basically in. And note by the way, I have like the spell hotkey right there for like, you know, Fire Arrow, which is basically the spell I cast like, you know, on the Goblin Archer. The Mage just basically have these spells as opposed to ones that like the Warlock basically has. And I can't remember if I was basically going to do anything special to this guy here, so... First things first, let's drop this stuff in here that I'm not using. Yeah, it's fine. The rest of the stuff I plan to try and sell. And I got, like, you know, less space, that's fine. And I converted a cloak in here. So, I already had a cloak in the mage, but, you know. Convert stuff randomly in here, right? Let's convert that next. Alright, so this guy's on a level of, like, undead, you know, characters like this. So, let's do that. And I'll note there's like a variety of like different enemies you can basically fight in this game. So there's like, you know, starting off with there's goblins. After the goblins, you move on to like gnolls and like kobolds. I'm on the level with like, you know, skeletons and like ghouls and zombies and stuff like that. There's a skeleton archer, by the way. Ooh, that's bad. See where it can be really dangerous having like a bunch of archers around? Because they basically all do stuff to you like that, so it hurts. There goes him. And I'll probably have to basically do some crafting of this guy in order to, like, advance effect of him. So there we go. And let's back off and go to the fighter here for a little bit. I'll note that the fire base is on level 11 here, which is basically the highest level I've gone to thus far. This guy's got, like, chain glove of willpower, axe vitality, helm, plate mail of intellect, just a whole variety of stuff basically for this guy here. He's got tons of scrolls, he's got, like, crafting ingredients and stuff. Note that the fire basically have lots of strength, of course, because they're fighters, so lots of weight capacity on them. Here's a wolf. Oh god, there's a mage. Okay, so we have mages to deal with. I can cast spells, of course, with this guy if I use scrolls. And yeah, I'm going for the scrolls here because there's a ton of scrolls, so... Orc Mage takes a hit. And yeah, this guy's going to be painful to fight because, of course, he's a mage. Okay, poisoned him. Now, because this wolf is pretty fast, and it's going to run away from the mage. And... just try and, like, heal up a little bit here. And yeah, I note that my mana is going down quite a bit as a warrior. You must be able to heal, so that's annoying. There's an Istok of intellect, so a very powerful, piercing weapon at this stage of the game. By the way, besides the wolves and the, like, orc mages, there's also orcs, as you can probably guess. Let's get some vitality. Note, by the way, there's a button over here on the bottom right, this tent icon. If you hold it down, you basically rest, which is, of course, useful if you want to heal up rapidly. That seemed to be the best way of dealing with that. And yeah, note by if I press, like, the book, you can't use spells with this class, because, it's a warrior. Also, note, by the way, that the, like, enemies are moving a lot faster here than, like, the goblins were. The enemies do move at different speeds. So, wolves basically move a lot faster. That looks like a troll. An ogre. Okay. And yes, you can use, bows on. And sometimes they get stuck on the walls, these guys, so that happens. I need arrows. All right, let's just go for it. Ow. Ow. And yeah, all my arrows go back to my inventory, so there's a ton of them there. All right, well, that's a fairly good showing of what Rogue Saga was basically all about. And as you can see, like, there's like good reason I basically want to show off this game, because, well, as you can see here, there's a whole lot basically to it that's very similar to Let Them Eat Cake and other Superhot style like roguelikes. Though it also shows that to make like a really decent type of game like that, you have to have like a lot more content. Like, I consider Rogue Saga to be very basic, but at the same time, you can see it's got some depth of ideas basically to it. All right, well, that's basically Rogue Saga. Hope you guys basically enjoyed it, and just for fun, bye.